Thanks for tuning into our seller interview series. Up today, we've got an affiliate site for sale in the technology niche. Now, this site was created in May 2008, and the business makes $4,707 per month in net profit. And the listing number for this site is 40747. Now, we do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the sites they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. Now, we've got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Thanks for coming on, Glory V.
No problem.
Yeah, before we dive into the questions here, just for the listeners out there on YouTube, or maybe they're watching this on the actual listing page, a quick summary of this business. Like I mentioned, it was built in May 2008 as a monthly revenue of $4,895. Expenses are $187, and the net profit is $4,707, and that is over a 3-month average. With the sell, all the affiliate accounts, domains, social networks, and an email list of 100,000 plus will be included with the sell. So can you give us just a little bit of background on you building and running online businesses? Is this business kind of your first one, or have you been doing it for a while?
Oh, no. I actually have 17 years in the industry. I was actually a systems admin in my earlier years of college, and I actually created over 5,000 websites for the university at the time. Yeah, and so I did a lot of the online learning development, set up systems for them, back end and front end work. And about 2010 or so, I got into mobile technology, and I started creating mobile apps for the government. And then I started to make mobile app games and got more into that niche. And we basically started to see that there was a need. There's a need for a lot of SaaS, and a lot of developers that had digital assets needed places to be able to advertise themselves and advertise their business models, their little mini software programs that they were creating. So we kind of created a marketplace that they basically rent space within it, and they get to advertise themselves, and we advertise the website. And it used to be more lucrative because we did it as a member fee based, and that was actually more profitable than going with affiliate ads and adding more of the affiliate marketing aspects of a revenue and a monetization model. But there is a lot of potential. There's a lot of potential for the site's growth. And the members are very active. We have over 5,000 sellers that have mini stores inside the website.
So, Gloria, just to stop you there real quick, for those out there wondering how the business is making money currently, you mentioned there was a membership program that you had, but now it's mainly affiliate. I'm assuming that when someone buys a SaaS thing that's being sold on your website, something along those lines, you get paid a commission. Is that correct?
There's a lot of different links in there that are there's apps in it. And if you go onto the site and you end up clicking on this ad for an app and you like the app and you install it, we might get a commission off of that.
Okay,
so
cool.
That's the type of affiliate that marketing that is in the website right now. So it's not always pay per click, but it's pay per action, but it's a pay per install, because there's a lot of software, little mini software programs and things in there. And so we might make a $1 here or $5 there,
Right,
or $10 or $20 or whatever it might be,
So these businesses, they tend to be fairly hands-off, not all the time, but they tend to be more low maintenance. Why are you selling the business? Why not keep it and regrow it?
Because both myself and my business partner, Prudence, she's a mother of two, and I started Harvard. So it's quite difficult for me. I'm focusing more on my studies. It's a graduate program at Harvard. That should tell you. It's extremely challenging. And I have a master's already, and this one is really, really intricate and complex. I'm going into more virtual reality and immersive learning technologies, big data and IoT stuff, and going into the biotech market. And so as you can imagine, that is consuming my time. And
Nah,
this,
that's like an hour a week, right?
right. Um, and so this kind of took the back burner and we just let it run with the organic traffic that it has. And so we opened it up for free and we stopped the membership monetization. So that was probably not the right move. I think that anybody who wants to really make this a lucrative, hands-off, turnkey ready website, they would want to go back into that model. And we couldn't do that in the middle of the year because obviously if, at the beginning of the year you give it to them for free, you can't come back in June and change your mind, right? So we were going to do it in January. It's like end of December, beginning of January. We thought, okay, let's make new packages and let's introduce them to new membership incentives, so that they can stick around, stay with us. They've paid it before. It's really not that expensive for them anyway. We have over 5,000 plus that have paid $60 for the whole year. That's $5 a month, right? But that's $300,000.
Right, that's a big scale.
That's wonderful, right? That's beautiful.
When you,
And they,
oh, go ahead.
well, and they don't mind paying normally because it's a very inexpensive way of getting visibility on their products and on these little mini stores. So they're not going to get that from a Facebook campaign or going into a different, even paying for SEO or some kind of marketing in another social network. It's going to be more expensive than that.
Sure. When you first started the business, what was the trajectory like? Did you start seeing revenue pretty quickly with this business, or did it take a while to kind of build up the brand and the name?
Oh, well, the previous owner that kind of passed the torch to us, he retired and he was a local man who went to a lot of networking events and we met him and he's just a great guy. And it started on like a local campaigning type of growth because we would go to meetups and we'd meet developers that wanted to get more visibility. They don't really know how to do that. How do you connect with businesses when you have, a software program? They didn't know. And so it was just a nice way of connecting them to the world. And it was progressive, but it obviously now, it's got over 5,000 in sellers and over 120,000 in subscribers that come to the site on a regular basis and check out what's in there. So
Yeah, it sounds like has a pretty interesting history now that you've taken it over. Is there anything you learned from running this business that you might apply towards your future projects? I know running something like this is probably pretty different than, virtual reality, but is there
yeah.
is there anything that you think that something that you did with the business that just like really worked well for you guys?
Yeah, I really believe that email marketing campaigning is going to be something to add to this and that it will definitely triple the sales because then you can actually offer the 5,000 members email marketing maybe at $9 a month. And now you have given them access to the 120,000 email list that you can grow. You can grow that email list even higher than that. And you're giving them an added service and you're tripling. So imagine like 900,000, in revenue, and you're adding an added service to those clients that really want that type of exposure. And we've learned that through working and seeing, the traffic. And we just recently put SumoMe on the site and started seeing certain things that we didn't know about. We didn't know where the traffic was really coming from. Or, I mean, you don't really know these things until you start to dig into the data. But that was really one of the discoveries that I feel really was an eye-opener because it really helped us realize that if we would have been more cognizant of this information, we could have implemented better services for those within the site that are active users of it, and that we could have provided them with services that are not only valuable but also very profitable. Uh,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely. email marketing is just so powerful. And I'm glad you said that because so many people, they come onto our marketplace and are selling these businesses, and most of them are not utilizing email, which I think is crazy because the money is in the list, right?
Yes, absolutely. And that's something we didn't know. We didn't know that either
Yeah,
when we came into it. But with SumoMe, it became evident that, we did have this list. Amazingly enough, our list was on our back end server. It was collected since 2008. We didn't have SumoMe. And so, but now, even now with SumoMe, we've been watching how many come in, how many subscriptions have been coming in by using their system. And it's remarkable how much people want. They want more information. They want to be engaged outside of the environment, really, because
right.
that's in email format, which has nothing to do with the environment itself, but it's quite a powerful addition that can really be the most lucrative part of it all.
So, is there anything you tried in this business that just didn't work? Anything that just kind of fell flat on its face for you guys?
Quite honestly, I think that adding ads was a big mistake. Yeah, okay, it allowed us to just let things kind of do whatever. But I realized that, for one, you don't have control over what a third party is doing. If there's a lot of fluctuation in revenue when you allow it to be on a third party like that. When you control it, when it's your member list and it's your email list and you are providing services, that's an exchange of one-on-one. There's no middleman there. But going with ad networks and I think that's something that I've taken away from this, and I will definitely look into more whenever I go into another business, because a lot of businesses use third party marketing like that, like revenue streams with monetization based on ads, right? But it is a third party. They don't have any transparency. So you're in the dark of what is happening on the other end of it all, and not a lot of data.
Yeah,
So you really don't know. And it's so much better to go with the email marketing and membership and kind of build it that way.
I agree totally. I think third party can definitely, kind of handicap you to those numbers. Like you said, you can't see the full data. When it comes to traffic with the website, is it mainly SEO, like organic search traffic that you're getting, or are you doing some social, or how is the traffic getting to your guys' website?
Well, we do have a social. We have a Facebook fan page, and it does get traffic from there. And here's the other thing, you know, the previous owner was quite active in a local community, so there was a lot of word of mouth. He was also very active in Stumbleupon, sharing articles and blogs and things. And so when he passed the torch to us, we realized that there were over 5,700 shares of stuff that had our website's name on it on Stumbleupon.
Wow.
So yeah, we get a lot of traffic from Stumbleupon. And I think it's because of that. There's also a lot of direct traffic coming to the site. And that's because you have 5,000 members that are sending out emails, which is what triggered us to think this was a good service to provide. They're directly placing URLs onto those emails, doing their own kind of email marketing. They want to tell a business owner, hey, check out what I've got over here. Or they have their own little mini email list that they're trying to grow by being in our little network, our little marketplace network. But yeah, it's really an interesting thing because what we're seeing these trends and we're seeing the potential of what it could be. It will take a little bit of initial setup, obviously, but I think that it shouldn't take too long. And once it's set up, you can actually hire a virtual assistant to help with the everyday email, sending emails or whatever the campaigning might be. Those things become easier once a mini setup is established.
Yeah, for sure. When it comes to earnings, how stable have the earnings been? You mentioned you guys have kind of switched from membership now to more this affiliate model, and you might be switching back. But Do you find that the earnings have been staying pretty stable for you guys? Is there seasonality in this niche at all?
With the membership fees, it was very stable because, you can actually make a package and then sell it as an annual. And so most people will just give you the $60 up front and you don't collect it on a monthly basis. So that's more stable and more consistent because once you've established a house in a neighborhood, guess what? You're probably not going to want to move. You know what I mean? So you just make that as part of your expenses and you continue to renew something like that. When you go to the ads, the ads, they were stable, but we saw downward trends in different time frames. So, for some reason, if the ad network is working, like right now, they're working on servers and they sent us and said, oh, there's a bit of a dip, but after December, there's a 20% increase on it or whatever. Okay, so there's no control over that. We don't have any control over it. And we see that there's more traffic. We see that there's more impressions, but we don't understand, right, why there's a difference in revenue. So has it been consistent? It's been pretty consistent, but there are dips. It could be a day that went poorly, or it could be a week that didn't go so well, and it kind of offsets everything else. So have we seen those fluctuations? Yes. I'm not sure why, because again, there's not a lot of transparency. But I can tell you that from the past, the memberships were solid, were a lot better. And if we would have been more hands-on, a little bit more, like obviously we weren't, we could have just trained someone to do it, to
Yeah.
do the campaigning and do it now. But
Speaking of what you're doing with the site, how much content is on the site? Like, are you adding new things every week with these new apps or software that become available on the market, or how does that work?
but that's all, whatever the members want to add, it's
Oh,
there.
okay, the members are adding it themselves.
Yeah, it's their little mini store. Think of it as a flea market, and they're just occupying space, and they have their own little store in there, and
Gotcha.
you get to travel around it and walk around and buy stuff. So we have like the feature. That's another thing. We used to upsell feature, like being featured on the front page. And there's 3 different columns. And so you get to feature the person, whichever column and however. That has to be managed as well. And so we made it so that it's a variable scale. So if you have more hits or if you're the newest, you get featured somehow in there right now, so that we didn't have to go and look at analytics or anything like that. But again, it's all a matter of getting a bit of time to train someone and just giving them tasks and then just run a couple of campaigns. And I think that this is an opportune time because, again, these were revelations and discoveries made in June, July, and we really couldn't do that then in the middle of a year or anything like
Right.
that. It has to be done when you start a new cycle or a year, something like that.
I'm thinking that for my next question here, if you could just ask, or in a couple of sentences, say what would be like if you wanted to keep the business and keep on growing the business. In just a few sentences, what would you do that would be the least risky path to grow the business? Would it be focusing on switching to more of a membership model again? Is that what you would focus on?
Yes, we have a plan that, I can tell you right now. It's 3 marketing campaigns that we would run. The first one would be to re-recruit, like just renew the members that are already there. We might lose some, but, that's fine. The second would be obviously those that, with the deficit perhaps of the members that may not want to renew, we will have a campaign for new members, right? So you just go and, like we've done before, you go to Meetup, you go to, business blogs, and you might run a campaign or two on some of the social networks that have developers, and boom, you will have your market. And that can be more than the 5,000 that we've had before. The second would be increasing the audience, right? So we would have a marketing campaign for our audience to increase our subscriptions and increase our email list, because we're going to be selling, right? We want to sell the email marketing for our members, right? So we want to give them a package that not only includes their membership fee to, per occupy space, but now we want to give them the most inexpensive email marketing that they can get online, right? With the highest membership. And then the third would be on maybe every 3 months or maybe every 6 months, we would run a traffic campaign just to gain more traffic and look at the numbers and say, okay, what can we do to increase our ranking and SEO, and do that with, focusing on some traffic campaigning. So that would be our strategy moving forward if we would keep it.
Sounds good. Would there be anything like if we went the opposite direction here and just say you were incredibly risky, kind of threw caution to the wind, would there be anything different you would do, or would you still focus on basically what you were just talking about there?
Yeah, I think it's not risky to go email marketing, and it's the most inexpensive way to increase profitability. I think the riskiest thing is to add more ads and just really deter people from using the site at all. And maybe they'll get annoyed by these things. I don't know, but I think providing value and services that are valuable to them is definitely less risky and more profitable. So that's where we would focus.
What do you think is the biggest risk to this business that a buyer should be aware of?
Gosh, I would say to just continue well, there's a couple risks. I would say the first one is to lose focus of the model that works, right? Because we did that and we shot ourselves in the foot. And so that's risky. If something works, then it works. Use what works. I think our focus kind of deviated because we started to take a look at design, right? We wanted to redesign the site, and that was going down a rabbit hole, right? Because then we started looking at web design and usability and all of these different things, and we lost focus of what was important, and by that time we were all consumed by other things. So that, I think, is the biggest risk, is not realizing what works and just using what works.
Absolutely. No need to reinvent the wheel, right?
Right. We kind of deviated our focus, and that really cost us a lot of time and effort that wasn't necessarily the right move on our end. So,
Could you just describe the amount of type of work you guys are currently doing to maintain the site? Because it sounds like you guys are, in other projects and stuff like that. But what does your weekly schedule look like with maintaining this business?
right now, it's running itself.
That's great.
Yeah. We don't run campaigns. We don't send any emails. The people that are there, they go there. We can see that they're using the site in one way or another. But the ads are obviously everywhere, and they're becoming very, I think it's too much. But I mean, it is what it is, and it runs itself at lesser because it's not 300,000, right? So there is obviously more profitability the other way. So, and it doesn't take that much more, but it does mean that we have some setup to take a look at and do correctly.
Is there any skills or, kind of a requirement you'd recommend for a buyer to have before purchasing this business?
No, we did tell you guys that we would provide any assistance that, like if they need any insight or help. We do have developers, and I can connect them with developers to help with any like more technical types of things. You don't really need the skill sets, but you do need a team, obviously, because you're going to have a host and a website and digital assets. So those things means that you have to have either some skills, like online skills of some sort, or a knowledge about an online business, and you're going to need a little team, right, in order to run a website. And that goes for anyone. You have to have like a hosting and all that. Now, granted, we can help with all these things, but obviously once we pass the torch, I want the person to feel comfortable with what they're doing, or. So that's the comfort level of working with online is necessary, but no need, you don't need to know how to set up SQL Server or
Right.
anything.
Speaking of passing the torch on here, just real quick, would you be willing to sign a non-compete? Just something that says, "Hey, look, thank you for buying my business. I'm not going to go start this exact same business like
Oh,
tomorrow."
yes, of
Okay,
course.
I figured you would be. Moving on to passing the torch on, how much support would you be willing to offer a buyer? I mean, like how long and what kind of support would you be offering them?
I did say that we would offer a 30-day, and as however many Skype calls, we can schedule, that's fine. I understand that there's a lot of questions sometimes when you start something new, and we understand that. We've gone through it ourselves. So, we want that comfort level to be there, and we're more than happy to extend that since we understand that that's something that we would want ourselves if we were in their shoes. And so we will grant that as well.
Awesome. And obviously, the best case scenario here for Empire Flippers and for you is someone comes in and buys the listing outright for the sales price. But would you be at all open to something like 70% upfront and like 30% on closing after maybe the window of support or training is completed, something along those lines? Would that be something you'd be at all open to?
Well, I would have to talk to my business partner, but I don't see why that would be a problem off the bat. Again, I'd have to ask her, but I would do something, sure. I would not back out, from our commitment of 30 days or however many Skype calls are necessary or any tech support or anything like that. So I don't think that would be an issue on our end, but I would definitely want her to also approve it. So.
Yeah, understandable. Before I ask you my final question here, Glory, my hot seat question, if you will, uh,
Okay.
just to give the listeners out there a quick reminder of, summary of this business. It was built in May 2008, has a monthly revenue of $4,895, expenses sitting at $187 for a net profit of $4,707, and that is over a 3-month average. With the sell, the site also includes the affiliate counts, the domain, social networks, and an email list of over 100,000 plus people that will be included with the sell. So, Glory, my final question for you is what is your best pitch in 30 seconds or less on why someone should purchase this business?
Because it's an opportune time for it. Right off the bat, you could be tripling and quadrupling basically the profitability of it. And if you look at the market and what is needed, there's so many networks out there that don't provide visibility, and a lot of these members, and even more that are out there, need the visibility, and they're willing to pay to be in a network where they're getting the visibility they need. So, I mean, if you're in Amazon, you have millions of people you're competing with. If you're on Facebook, you have millions of people you're competing with. Even like Apple, tons and tons of apps, right? But this enables them to really connect and get the visibility they need, so they're willing to pay a membership fee for that. And we've created that because we saw that need. And so I think that it's only going to grow. There's, the scalability of it is there and it's evident.
Yeah, absolutely. And with an email list of over 100,000 people, that's quite the opportunity for the savvy email marketer for sure. For those out there watching this on YouTube, and if you want more information, the link will be below the video that would take you to the marketplace listing. Now, if you're on the actual listing page and you want more information about this business, you can become a depositor today. All you have to do is click the button, make a deposit, and you'll be given everything you need to review this business. So, Glory, thank you so much for coming on. It was an absolute pleasure.
Absolutely, no problem.